Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well today. This fine fall Tuesday morning. Happy first sip. So I wanted to dive right into this morning's topic and just reading the news about the NFL held a meeting yesterday at the headquarters, Roger Goodell, and they discussed some things with some players. So it was reported that Colin Kaepernick was invited, but I just read an official statement by his lawyers that say he was not invited, but was open to any future invitation. With that being said, the league, what I'm reading, discussed some policies. They decided that, they never mandated that players stand for the national anthem, and they're also saying that in within respects to the protesting initiated by Colin Kaepernick, and I'm certain it's not the first time that a black athlete in America, or any politician or citizen in America has protested the social injustice. And I want to just stop right there with the word social injustice, because I think a lot of you assimilate that term with current social media, meaning it's something new. I think a lot of terms that we use in today's lexicon get thrown around so much that people really lose track of what they mean. So social injustice is nothing new. In fact, it's been going on in this country since the beginning. It's just that we have a way to mass broadcast social injustices and everything else that happened in our country. So that's just on that note. But the result of the meeting supposedly is the NFL decided they want to let their players and the public know that they are staying behind social issues and injustices. So how do they do that? Which, by the way, is a good thing. So score one for Colin Kaepernick and all the other civil rights activists in history before, because there's been a lot. There's been a lot of civil rights activists. There's been a lot of activists for a lot of things in America. The sad part is that we keep having these activists, and some things get resolved, some things don't. But the problem is there's the people that are always on one side of the issue who just don't give a damn. And that's a lot of you in America. A lot of you do give a damn. A lot of you do care. A lot of you show that. You support the issues in front of us, and can tell when people have been mistreated for a long time in America. And I know you all sit back, some of you, and let's just call it what it is. Some white folks still believe that black people have a fair share in America just like white folks. And I've talked about it time and time again since the beginning of the country. And I don't want to hear about, well, slavery's over, get over it. You do not understand the lasting implications of something as terrible and as dehumanizing as slavery and how long it lasted in America. Not only that, after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, different rules and different laws were made up by white people to essentially keep black people impoverished, keep them out of schools, separated from knowledge and education. There was banks that were doing things by the federal government that was not allowing black people to get loans for houses and things like that, all the way up to all the way through World War II. There was laws in the books right after slavery ended that if you didn't have a job, they would put you in prison. That's where the prison industrial complex began. So it used to be full of white people after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. But after you have these newly released enslaved people, they didn't have jobs. So what did whites do? They made laws that if you didn't have a job, you went to jail and then you worked for the state or the county, wherever you live. So those things continue. And I don't mean just ancient history. I'm talking about up through the 60s. Like I said, we have the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That's not that long ago. But beyond that, even more closer to where we are today. We have tampering with the voting laws, and people are trying to get voter ID laws changed and things like that. And for some of you, this thing, oh, it's so easy to get a license. Why don't people just go out and get IDs? Well, all kind of people have different issues where they're not able to do what everyone else can do all the time in America. So again, we're jerry-rigging the voting districts in our communities where certain affluent white communities are getting more votes and things like that. So there's a lot of things that are still going on today, in addition to black folks are greatly there's a great disparity in the mistreatment of black people killed by the hands of police on a daily basis. And we have all seen that recently on all the social media posts with everyone being killed, abused, and all the things that some of the police officers are continuing to do. Now, I wonder if those people were just power-hungry police officers, or are they just racist police officers, or just not good people. Either way, those are the same kind of issues that we're still talking about. One group of people still oppressing and still seeking out another group of people. Colin Kaepernick is not the first to bring it up. Right before him, Jesse Williams, the actor, made a very nice speech at the BET Awards, and he called on celebrities to use their platform, if you all remember, to raise awareness. Not only do we have those issues with social areas, we have issues in the black community amongst ourselves that we're still uh, railing from the effects of slavery and segregation all throughout the Jim Crow South, all throughout all the different laws that were passed in America, and quite frankly, just the attitudes of white America since the beginning of this country that black people are less than. We're still dealing with that today. We're still seeing people who don't care about the color, who just look at me and think that all kind of disparaging comments just by looking at the color of my skin. There's a lot of people who accept me and love me for who I am. But the true fact is, people got all mad about their sports and football and got uncomfortable about it. So you have to bring attention to these things until people look at it differently. So why protest? And again, it was not protesting the flag, it was making a statement. And quite frankly, it worked. People started talking about it. We're addressing issues, forcing America to have a conversation about race relations in America, which quite frankly have been terrible. So again, those of you that are privileged and live in a community where you don't have any people of color, of any color, of any national origin, there's some good folks out here that just are. I've seen them time and time again. But the vast majority of people with the same attitude, it's like, oh, it's not my issue. I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing and do mine. That's part of the problem. It's like breast cancer. We all wear pink. We all support breast cancer. Nobody complains about it. Nothing's happened. We still have people dying of cancer, right? So it's a fight that has to keep on being fought. But I'd just like to add this last thing on the NFL. Like I said, it's a win for the current situation because things are being addressed. And even though I've read something about they're going to reduce the mandatory minimum sentences to nonviolent drug offenders in the NFL, which to me it sounds like, again, they're making a statement. Well, we want to work for black people and black players in the league because we care about social issues. So we will take this one issue and about drugs and violence since they've already told us by the sheer fact that there are a lot of convicted rapists, drug users, and all kinds of things in the NFL all across the board. But as my main point was that you had somebody like Colin Kaepernick, who's a straight shooter, straight ace, very good activist in his community and does well with things and volunteers, philanthropist, gives money and does everything for his community in a positive light for everybody, and was shut down and not allowed to work because he used his rights to protest the violence that he saw going on at the hands of our civil servants towards people of color. But yet, some of these other players, again, white and black across the board, but however, the NFL basically said, it's okay, we'll accept you guys who fight with dogs and abuse animals and abuse women and abuse drugs. And the NFL basically said, you're okay, you can continue to play. But what we won't tolerate is a black man standing up peacefully and being a righteous citizen and an active citizen in the community, speaking out on things that need to be addressed. The NFL wouldn't allow that, and that's my main concern, and that was my main chief complaint with a lot of people. When you have somebody positive, especially in the black community, people always try to shut them down, and there's always these forces behind that trying to keep people down and dumb, because when you control people and control the narrative about what's going on, you can make people believe anything that you want to believe. So again, that in a nutshell is what's going on. I just had to get that out this morning. Thanks for taking the time to listen, and I'll get back to you soon. Stay productive, stay wonderful, stay blessed, stay all those things, because we got work to do.